Stepping out into the front yard, I breathed in the cold morning air as I rubbed my eyes. It wasn't coffee, but the crispness was quickly waking me up. Very good, Dave. The sky isn't coffee. What did I have to do today? Rubbing my head, it dawned on me. I had to talk things out with Dean today. Just talk and figure out things between us. I guess that's technically on the list. My first thought would have been, make sure Tyson doesn't murder Orlando, but you can think about Dean too. The prospect of it made my stomach flip and churn slightly, not really sure how things were going to go. With a sigh, I looked out over the front lawn and breathed in deep again through my nose.
Dave!
I spun around, noticing Benson standing there. I hadn't realized that I'd left the door open. His eyes were sunken, slightly more disheveled than normal, but he was there. "Morning, Benson." He grunted, standing there, staring. Something about him seemed off. Wild, maybe, but it was hard to pick out exactly what was wrong. "Are you okay?"
Why are you outside, my boy?
"Just fresh air. I had a crazy dream. Well, maybe not so crazy, but Thanatos was in it." At the mention of his name, Benson's expression soured further.
I dare say, as long as you know what happened was a dream, it's best forgotten. Just don't think about it too much, like anything else that's happened this month.
It wasn't so bad, really. Just, strange. Having him in my house and asking me what would make me happy.
And what did you tell them?
Just that I want to be home with my friends. That's it, really. I felt like it shouldn't be this much, but...
It is understandable that you'd wish to escape. Heaven forbid that I wish the same, but alas, not until my job is done. Chick, chick. And that's when he loads the shotgun.
What job is that?
Frankly, I have many, but specifically something asked of me by Oswin in his passing.
Because of the will?
Indeed.
But what is it? Something important, or...?
Important enough. Now kindly drop this line of questioning, Dave. I haven't had my tea yet.
You introduced it. Don't introduce concepts you don't want me to talk to you about. What the fuck? Not coffee? Coffee would likely wake you up better.
Much like you, I find myself more keen on waking by the fresh morning air, supplemented with tea, though.
Ah, did you want tea? I could go make tea, given I haven't had coffee yet.
Don't trouble yourself, Dave. I'll be going to have myself a nap in a short while and likely resurface to have a cup afterwards.
Sleeping hasn't been any better, then.
Alas, no. Were we in a better position to consider sedating myself, but I cannot take that chance with those in the forest still unaccounted for.
Oh. Okay.
Did you require anything of me before I turn in?
I don't think so. I'm still waking up too, so I'm still a bit, tented.
Yes, well, better refrain from leaving doors open in your wake, Dave. This is becoming a habit for you.
Sharply, he turned away and strode back inside, leaving me to my thoughts. Not that there was anything specific for me to focus on. I just needed less to worry about, less things to worry me. It wasn't long before I turned around and headed inside as well, making sure to close the door behind me, so I made my way to the kitchen. Once again, a conversation that was just entirely logistics and nothing else. They talk way too much about who's going to be doing what in what order, like they're building an alibi. Still being the first one to arrive, everything was cold, and I started with the lights and the coffee machine. The machine buzzed to life as it boiled water. I milled beans and was treated to the fresh scent of coffee. Part of me wondered if I had a life ahead of me as a barista, given how just the small joy of this was bringing a smile to my face. It wasn't as if I'd thought much about my future or what I wanted to do after school. How? How do you not think about that? That's like a dominating thought. Like, oh fuck, I'm on the cusp of having to do something with myself. It's like a terrifying thing that like dominates your thoughts when you're finishing school. I didn't think I had it in me to do something artistic as a career, as fun as it was. I wanted that to stay fun, something to just relax with. But making coffee almost seemed to be a middle ground for that. Pouring myself a cup, I continued brewing so that there was enough for the others when they surfaced. Drinking it down slowly, my mind wandered to the prospect of the money offered to us, and if opening a cafe of my own was something I could use it for. This is a minor note, but it stood out to me and I keep not commenting on it, but Dave always instantly drinks coffee. And I'm like,
Yeah.
That's what? That's
He does a coffee thing sometimes. He's a known coffee boy.
No, I just mean like he gets coffee and then immediately drinks it every time. And I'm like, that's usually kind of impossible and dangerous. Like coffee is so fucking hot when it's served. Like you can't just down it the way he always.
What are you talking about? Just drink the fucking coffee.
No.
I drink my coffee hot every day. What
It's
are you
so
talking
hot.
about?
Do you literally
don't brew
coffee?
it boiling. You're not supposed to brew it boiling. You brew it at like 205 degrees and then you drink it. It's fine. By the time it hits your mouth, it's not super hot anymore. What?
You brew coffee and just instantly drink it?
Yeah. It gets in the cup. It immediately ends. I grab the cup. I take a big sip and then I walk up the stairs.
What the fuck?
This is not a weird thing. You're supposed to drink coffee hot, Keith. That's how
Like-
you drink it.
I drink it hot, but not immediately.
It's not
Let-
that weird. This
me
is
know
not a
what-
weird thing.
Let me know in the comments, everybody, how you sound off. Whenever we get coffee out of the machine or at a Starbucks or something, it's always not drinkable yet. I always have to wait because it's so fucking hot.
Yeah, I just sip it. I just sip the coffee.
Oh, it's way too hot.
All right.
Oh, what's got you smiling? I looked up to see Dean leaning in the doorway, catching himself in a yawn before wandering closer. Just thinking about making coffee, that's all. In any particular way, or? Oh, like, as a job, I guess. What it'd be like to open a cafe, stuff like that. Oh no. From what I hear, opening any kind of food place is one of the most dangerous things you can do if you want to actually succeed financially.
Restaurants have a ton of overhead, and you're entering a saturated market.
Could be fun. I know Freddie loves his pizza place, so maybe you're just an entrepreneur waiting to happen. Bless you. Or as Bird would say, French. That's a gag that we haven't done as much lately. The snicker gave me away, and Dean joined me in having a chuckle as he poured himself a cup of coffee. When we get home, I could see if Freddie could talk to you about setting something up if you're that keen. Maybe. I think getting out of here would be the first step, right? And that seems... I trailed off, and Dean nodded slowly, drinking from the coffee in his mug. Yeah. Bit like that, isn't it? What's for breakfast, by the way? Don't know yet. Maybe pancakes again? Want some help? Nah, I got it. It wouldn't be a bother if I just stayed here and watched. No one else is up yet. Feeling lonely? Dave! That's not a great thing to say when you're probably about to break up with him or whatever the fuck this means. Whatever this dynamic is. Not so much lonely as just... no sense in just being alone at the moment. Oh, then sure. You can stay. No worries. Dean made himself comfortable and I got to work mixing batter. It was just like the other morning I made pancakes too. Oven on to make sure I could keep them warm, and I started making the batter.
Sorry, the idea, just for some reason, I'm so triggered by you constantly doing the oven joke that you saying oven on in this context just made me chuckle out loud.
I didn't even do it, but it's burning
I
your
just
brain.
laughed immediately. Yeah,
Why do they call it oven?
It's just such a password diatribe. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that Dean would say.
Yeah. Hey, Dave. Why do they call it oven when you oven the cold food and out hot eat the food? I don't know how, especially with someone who fucks up at speaking so often, I don't know how I get that line out as consistently as I do, considering how much of a train wreck it is. It's a nightmare to say. I thought about how Sal tried to cook pancakes and Orlando's reaction too. It brought a smile to my face for a little bit as I tried my best to adapt what I'd learned then, even if it wasn't much. I'm surprised you think they would wear like gloves when they made pancakes, like you're kneading the batter and whatnot, and it's like, I guess you don't need it, you just scoop it with a tool. Occasionally I'd look over at Dean, who would sometimes be looking my way with a smile, or fondly looking out the window at the world beyond. If I'd caught his eye, I'd flash him a smile back before turning back to the pancakes, racked with guilt. At some point today, we need to talk about us, and if a relationship was happening, or what exactly it was we had. Which is nothing. It's nothing. It's been 19 days. Like, this is if you're crushing on someone and you kind of have a thing going on already and you want to develop that into a relationship and you're on a month-long trip with them, that's almost like the dream scenario of like, hey, we can spend time together and actually like be alone and figure what this is. And Dean has explicitly not done that for 19 days straight. So
yeah,
it's
he's just been looking at the greenhouse the whole time.
If somebody acted the way that Dean has, I would assume they weren't into me. Is the thing.
Yes. Yes, completely.
I wondered now.
But this transcends even not like going on dates or not like hooking up. Dean hasn't even talked to us. We have been in the same room as him, and he has had conversations with other people exclusively.
Yeah. Like, he is, like, obviously, like, Leo's no gold standard or anything. He's a nightmare person, but you can tell that Leo is trying to find time with Chase and trying to kind of like push his way in past the friend group at times to get alone with him and stuff. Dean just, not only is it way more appropriate for Dean, like Dean is not only not doing that, but he's in a scenario where it'd be way more okay for him to act in those ways, and that like Dave is literally alone a lot. Like he's very accessible. You don't have to like toxically push anyone out of the way to spend time with Dave. He just doesn't do it in a story where people are explicitly not hanging out for so much of the time anyway. It's just something, it's very strange. I don't know if this is always happening in every route, but definitely in Sal's route, if this is only a Sal route thing, he definitely needs to be a much stronger presence in this route to actually establish this dynamic, because the game letting you just hang out with Tyson instead means that Dean can just not be in the story, but then he's treated like he was so much. And Tyson, who you spend a ton of time with, and the game kind of seems like it might be developing romantically, then specifies via the dad flashbacks that you're basically brothers and maybe not in any way romantically involved in each other. And so he gets sidelined too, but also, notably, still stays in the story more prominently than Dean. like even when sidelined as your brother figure, Tyson is still constantly here, and Dean continues to just not be in the story. And so now we're in a situation where we're constantly talking about Dean's presence in the story, which hasn't happened, and kind of still mostly has continued to not happen, even while the conversations are happening, because they're happening with everyone but Dean. It's very strange. I wondered if now was a good time, or if it was best to just let it lay until after we'd woken up a bit more. At the very least, had our food in our stomachs.
I can smell pancakes.
Very good, Sal.
Pancakes. And not the coffee?
Yeah, maybe don't break up with Dean in the middle of cooking, right before eating, and in front of everybody. I looked up from the frying pan to look at the door, just as Haas and Sal wandered around the corner. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
I'm a little distracted by how Haas just kind of changed back into his other shirt after being in a different shirt for a little while, because it calls attention to the fact that everyone's wearing the same clothes every day, which is always true in these games because it's such a pain to change them. But the fact that he did it once is so odd. He's just back in his bisexual shirt. Do you get it? He's the bi one.
He's the bi one. Making breakfast already. I like the sections where I get to voice Haas because I just get to talk like my normal voice.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make my head hurt.
You gave everyone a different grating, like gravelly, like throat destroyer voice.
I did. Dean, why aren't you helping?
He didn't want any help.
Okay. Still handling it fine on your own, Dave.
Yep, I'm fine. They're pancakes.
Pancakes.
Haas shrugged and made his way over to the kettle to make himself some tea, while Sal wandered over to the coffee pot.
Should we go wake the others?
Nah, I can keep these warm until everyone arrives. After all, I think more sleep would be better than less sleep, right? I just learned about sleep today.
Still, you should have woken me up this morning. It was a little worrying when you weren't in bed.
Sorry, I historically
Dean's
don't think about other
explode.
people. Just do this right in front of him, yeah. Oh, Sal, you should know better. But it's just, sorry, Sal, it's just, you know me, it's me, Dave. I have a history of not considering other people's feelings, especially about myself. In bed? What do you mean?
Something came up last night. Sought me out and ended up spending the night with me.
Yeah, just Tyson things, you know. I don't understand, because that's... You talking like aliens? What an insane thing to just expect someone to parse. You know, had to sleep with Sal, just Tyson things. Tyson, who I famously... What? Who famously affects my sleeping?
What's wrong, Dean? Jealous?
A little. But I guess Sal doesn't have his usual sleeping companion, so I guess it's fine. I flashed Dean a quick smile before shooting a concerned look at Sal.
I don't fucking understand this character. I do not understand why Dave would smile at Dean flirtily after this is said. Why would you have the conversation about breaking up with Dean before this moment if not to arbitrarily set up conflict that then Sal, the one who warned us about this, would stumble into for no reason? What is going on? This is the most arbitrary conflict I've ever seen written in a visual novel, and it's making me frustrated.
It was very strange because, yeah, like, we slept with Sal despite the fact we have not confronted Dean, which seemed to be his ultimatum, but then we then just spent the night with him anyway, despite that ultimatum, instead of just hanging out with Orlando, or, God forbid, sleeping with Tyson, the person you're worried is going to Hulk out and murder somebody, and you should be keeping an eye on. But then Sal just says it in front of Dean, and I'm like, you know, because it was you who brought it up. I flashed Dean a quick smile before shooting a concerned look at Sal. He didn't look at me, or anyone else really, just kept his eyes averted as Dean's comment left unanswered. What was up?
I just am very frustrated with this game. Very frustrated with this narrative.
I went back to cooking, and the three of them made small chat, eventually moving into the dining room when the others started to show up. Hearing Orlando and Roswell's voices in the other room brought a smile to my face, but I was so out of it that I didn't even notice I had a visitor. Hey. I nearly jumped out of my fur from how close he was, looking over my shoulder at the frying pan. He was lucky I hadn't accidentally flipped a pancake onto the floor, but what was left in the pan was a half-flipped mess. Ty. What? You almost made me screw this one up. Did not. You're just a klutz. Glad to know you're someone back to normal, I think. Can you flip a pancake with your, like you personally, can you flip a pancake with the pan?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think I've ever tried, but it sounds, I'm like, that seems way too risky. I'm not ready for that. I always use a spatula. Just like, I'm trying to parse like what Dave was up to. I'm like, can he just do that? I don't know, I guess I'm easily impressed. If someone can just flip a pancake. The sleep helped, in your bed, I mean, so thanks. I'm glad. Use it tonight as well. Just make sure you're all, like, good again. All the way. He grunted, wandering over to the coffee machine to make himself a mug before heading towards the door to the dining room. Maybe. And with that, he headed into the dining room. Conversation on the other side dying down, as no doubt the others noticed him. I stared at the door Ty passed through for a few moments before turning back to my pancakes, figuring now was the time to bring everything out for people to eat. Then, following that, I had to find something to do with my day. Things were still in the process of returning to normal, whatever constituted normal these days. What does that mean? What does returning to normal mean? Compared to what? What are we returning from? Because nothing's resolved? The villain isn't...
Yeah.
The Stabby Rabbit's not gone. Dragon Mafia is unresolved. The road is still out.
I'm even more frustrated because they just introduced this big conflict that would be a conflict that they signposted as a major conflict, and then the scene just moved on past it.
Yeah, we just moved on from, like, actively antagonizing Dean over the relationship that we still aren't fixing.
I
have no idea what specific event was the status quo disruptor that we are somehow returning from now in this comment. Like, I have no idea what it means, and that's just wild to me.
Yeah. I just cannot get over... I don't know how to word exactly. I don't really know how to explain the thing that's frustrating me, but I think that every single time the story has an opportunity for characters to do anything, like for actions to be taken that upset a status quo and create change in the narrative, either through character interactions or story interactions, the game just chooses to not do it. Like,
yeah, it just kind of
we've made
on.
a joke,
but also
yeah,
specifically it's not interrupted by things happening.
Yeah,
like it's very common, especially in like a tightly paced 2-hour movie, to be like, we're introducing character conflict. Oh fuck, a train crash! Like, and like things are happening in the plot that get in the way of.
We
them
can't deal with this right
conversation.
now. We have to deal with the other thing as a stand-in for our emotions.
Yeah. But in this story,
Yeah.
they're constantly not dealing with things. They're both not dealing with the main plot threats and not dealing with the interpersonal things that need to be talked about. But then just being like, yeah, I don't know, I should probably think of something to do today. Probably just lay around. I don't know. Like they're not. Nothing's in their way. Like despite the fact that the narrative is set up in a way where there should be a lot happening that's in their way and things should be going down, for the most part, they're just kind of. They always reset back to this default status of just kind of hanging out around the mansion. And it feels like it feels like it could potentially be a side effect of having this kind of like maybe very modular design to how the game is written, where they have to be able to slot in and out different events all the time based on your past decisions or which route you're in, while also trying to make them all overall be the same story. And so as a safety measure, they constantly reset to just being like hanging out around the mansion. But it makes the story incredibly undynamic, and it makes it like it makes so that nobody has any excuse constantly for the way they're behaving, because there is nothing going down. Like, it very much is not like, here's all my unresolved stuff between Chase and Leo, but then Saturday started happening, so oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Like, that stuff doesn't happen, so they could just talk about all the things, and they don't.
Yeah.
Tyson sat at the far end of the table. The rest of us had pleasant enough conversation, although it was clear we were still waking up. Then after we were done eating, everyone split off again. Except for me. It was back into the kitchen to clean up. I made the mess, so I may as well clean it up, right? I just let my mind wander, occasionally looking out of the window. I assumed keeping my hands busy would keep me from overthinking, but mindlessly doing chores seemed to be doing the opposite. That was just me misreading it. Okay.
Junior, what are you doing? Thanatos is going to be his dad or something, because he keeps calling him Junior.
Thanatos. It's like Genshin Impact's calling their characters daddy. But it's like, that 1 foot tall rat. This is so daddy.
I'm so fucking exhausted.
What? Washing the dishes? Thanatos was walking along the countertop, looking down into the water before looking back up at me, pouting.
But why?
Who else is going to do it?
Benny boy, maybe it's his job.
I don't think Benson's really in any spot to do much of anything. Not with how you've been keeping him awake all night.
It's not my fault. Okay, that's a lie. I may have been antagonizing him a little bit.
But why? That's just... There's no way that's just... I looked at Thanatos and saw that his attention was at the door to the kitchen. The moment I followed the direction he was looking, I could hear someone approaching. But Thanatos didn't make any attempt to move, standing there before shooting me a sideways glance.
We have company. Just what I wanted. Hello, Dave.
I brought the J.O. crystal. Orlando. I looked at Roswell and watched as his eyes drifted from me across to Thanatos, almost doing a double take upon seeing him. He didn't say anything, almost wondering if what he was seeing was real or not. Is that a rat? In the kitchen? Oh, he's fine. I'm sorry, but what part of a rat in the kitchen do you not understand? Oh, don't worry, it's okay, he's dead. That makes it better.
I'm with Dave on this. He appeared yesterday in the dining room talking to Dean, right off when I took him to the kitchen. He actually didn't appear to be talking to Dean. In fact, he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, no.
He was purposefully not talking.
Why does everyone keep saying he was talking to Dean, which would be, as I understand it in this setting, a lot, and not normal.
A huge shock to everyone.
Like, as far as I'm aware, he's specifically not supposed to be able to talk. So why does everyone keep saying he was talking to Dean when that would be like, oh my god, a talking rat, which everyone seems to not know is the thing. What? I don't know when. And now he's back because you showed him where the food is. Well, come on. Someone help me find something to move him. Move him? Why move him for?
Well, we don't want him falling into the sink, do we?
That's not what Orlando means. I was thinking we put him outside, or at the very least out of the kitchen. He's fine. He's not hurting anyone. Yes, he is. Okay, well, he is hurting everyone, but, well, why are we friends? Well, he bit Dean yesterday, but still. So, two things. You knew this rat was here, and he bit Dean? Well, he was treating him pretty rough, so he was asking for it. Well. Orlando marched forward, snatched up a colander from where it was hanging, and promptly dropped it over Thanatos.
Well, you've trapped him. Now what?
I guess slide something underneath and find something heavy to put on top so we can secure him until we figure out who he belongs to. Are you alright in there? I can hear him kick against the side of the colander, but only the once, seemingly resigned to being held down.
He'll be fine. He has air holes.
I suppose so.
Does he have a name?
Maybe?
What do you mean by maybe?
I don't know. But if he's a pet, he doesn't have a name tag or something? Not as far as I saw off his collar. Well, we can't just call him the pet rat, can we? I guess not, but, I looked at the colander as Orlando slipped a plate under it and let his weight rest on top of it to keep it in place.
Also a black rat, too. You know what they symbolize, right?
What do they what? Do black rats symbolize something? Is this a thing in literature?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I just know that white rats are lab rats, but there's like black for cats? No?
Bringers of death! Plague bringers and alike.
Isn't that every rat? I'd never seen Orlando move so quick, picking up the contained rat and passing it off to Roswell.
So I get to decide what we're doing with this.
Well, I mean, I don't mind putting him somewhere after I've finished the dishes, unless someone else wants to take over. I'd happily wash the dishes if I didn't have to deal with it, but I'd really like him to just not be in the kitchen. That's easily done. Here, I'll take him. I reached out for the trap, and Roswell made no sign of handing it over.
Do you think he belongs to Benson? Maybe Oswin?
Yeah, it's their house. But Oswin's dead, isn't he?
Which explains why he's out and about. Probably misses his master, huh?
Yet again, I heard Thanatos kick the side of the colander, but Roswell held firm. Maybe?
Well, it's not as if we can ask him directly, can we?
I mean, at the end of the day, from their perspective, there's a pet rat. Its owner died a week ago. Feed it. There you go. Mystery solved. I looked across to Orlando, not wanting to look at Roswell and give him any ideas that Thanatos could in fact speak for himself.
Well, what do you say?
Roswell jostled the trap in his arms, but got nothing in response, instead passing it back over to me.
Interesting rat. Very, very interesting heavy rat.
What do you mean by heavy?
I just mean that. He's heavy. Heavier than any normal rat, anyway.
Oh, yeah, he's real heavy. I chuckled and watched as Roswell's face shifted, him not looking too pleased about something. Orlando, meanwhile, was already sidling to position himself at the sink now that that I was holding the rat. What? I'm holding the rat? No, I'm not. Roswell's holding the rat. We specifically established that he didn't hand me the rat. Right? Yeah, that's just not true. How about you go deal with it, Dave? Oh, sure.
Want some help?
Oh, sure.
I was kinda talking to,
He gestured at me and I shook my head, flashing him a quick smile. Nah, it'll be fine. I'll just go find somewhere safe to put him. Realistically, I wanted to have some words with Thanatos, but that was going to be hard while keeping the secret that he could talk. Orlando's hand on Roswell's shoulder stopped him from putting up another word, and I quickly made my escape, with Thanatos still hidden in the colander. I was a little thankful that I didn't run into anyone else on the way to the basement, assuming that would have been the best place to drop him off, with it being dark and fairly out of the way. Taking the stairs, barely one at a time, wanting to make sure I didn't drop him, the moment we hit the floor, I put the plate down and lifted the colander off.
took you long enough.
You got caught on
Almost went
purpose,
Roswell.
fucker.
Yeah.
Like, from the description, there was warning, and he just stood there and was like, yep, let's do this. What were you even doing? Is there another thing you need to do for tonight, or...?
Nah, you got that covered well enough. Pretty sure so long as we have a repeat of last night, you're in the clear.
Then what?
Checking out my options.
Like you were with Dean yesterday?
Something like that, but had another thing I wanted to ask you before we were so rudely interrupted.
I didn't expect Orlando to trap you like that either.
Not as if he knew I wasn't a rat, huh?
Still, you have feelings, right? Thanatos almost seemed offended that I had asked, but didn't clarify at first, almost seeming to think it over.
I've seen things you wouldn't believe. That's a complicated question.
Can machines dream of electric sheep?
A matter of opinion. Not as if I'm a standard case anyway. Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
So if things went wrong for your master, you'd be sad?
Of course.
So you have
But-
feelings. You answered the
yeah.
fucking question, you
Jesus
stupid dumbass rat.
Why can't you just say yes? But feelings?
Well, I can emulate them well enough, but at the end of the day, it's just an emulation. So long as I can make you think I'm feeling an emotion, it's good enough, isn't it?
The Turing test. So really, you never get sad? Happy?
Are we gonna void comp the fucking rat? What's going on?
You said something about being bored at some point, too.
Maybe I picked up actual emotions after so many times going through the same things that I learned them.
Sure. But what did you want to ask me?
Come with me. It's important that we do this somewhere else.
He scurried over to the room with the vault door, and I followed him inside. When I had the door closed behind myself, he spoke. I didn't know the vault... I didn't think the vault was in a room. Like, obviously, like, a room as a concept. I didn't think there was a door to the vault. I thought it was just there in the basement.
So here's the question. Are you willing to die?
I'm sorry, what?
Not that complicated, just asking if you're willing to die.
For what? I mean, no? Maybe? I like being alive mostly, but...
What?
You're asking me for a reason, aren't you?
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. It's an important question, and yeah, there's a reason.
But you're not going to tell me?
Nah, I'll tell ya. Reason's pretty simple, too.
He looked up at me, looking serious. Or maybe it was grim. Either way, despite him being so small and standing on the floor, I felt uncomfortable.
There may be a day coming up, potentially, where you'll need to make a choice.
That's all that happens. A choice? Of if I'll die?
In place of someone else, yeah.
Who? Is someone going to... His expression said it all. No. What's the password? We can fix it, right?
Not when you're the one that makes the call.
What do you mean?
Remember, this works on trauma. If you make the call and willingly die a quick death, can't be traumatic, right? Also can't save yourself if you don't survive.
So that's it? Someone's going to die? Or I'm going to die instead?
I'm just asking if you're willing. If you are, I'd ask you why. If you aren't, then we might not be walking into this mess. Oh my God, just communicate, you dumb
What's
asshole.
going to happen?
Depending on how the next couple of days go, we might be facing a worst case sort of deal, yeah? And being everyone keeling over for one reason or another.
Might? Why are you bringing this up like if it might not happen?
I don't know, Dave. Why are you carrying around a syringe filled with meningitis in your pocket and never mentioned it to anyone?
Yeah. Also, this is just a weird comment because I'm like, what do you mean? Why would he bring it up if it might not happen? Don't you want to know if it might happen? What? Oh, it's not 100%, so just don't mention it? What the fuck, Dave? What do you mean by that?
You want me to just sit back and watch you all die?
What I want is for you to just not be so difficult.
Fat chance of that happening.
So what? All I've got to do is wait to see what happens?
Yeah, pretty much. Die or don't. You have to make the call. If you're lucky, you won't need to.
I eyed him warily, sitting down on the floor to rest my feet. Can I ask you something, Thanatos?
What?
Your master, right? What are they like?
Why do you want to know?
I'm just curious. There has to be someone that you're nice to, right?
I'm plenty nice.
Their master is not Oz?
I've lost the plot. I don't
Why
know.
does Dave know that... Why does Dave know Thanatos has a master? He just kind of started talking about Thanatos getting orders suddenly, like we knew that. But given that Oz is dead and is presumably his owner and creator, it would be presumed that he meant the vault. But now it's just increasingly unclear who he means.
Yeah, I have no idea. Florencia, who knows?
I'm plenty nice, but my master is, good.
Just good?
What do you expect me to say? Of course he's nice. Nice enough anyway.
Gender. But he's also good.
That's complicated.
What's complicated about it?
What even is good? That's not something you can really program.
Why not? Just put the programming in for what's good and what's bad. Easy. Dave is a child.
You're talking about programming morals into a machine.
Have you even heard of the trolley problem? You can't?
The lolly lule low.
They follow commands, right? So why not give them morals too?
Nice thought that, but not how it works.
How do you know if your master's good? He went to retort, but stopped, caught off guard.
He's good.
Also, how do you know your master's good? The premise of this conversation was that he can't accurately define what good is, and that's why he didn't definitively say his master was good. So he's like, why do you know your master's good? And he literally said the opposite of that, Dave. That's not what the conversation was about. If you say so?
Well, ignoring the killing and manipulation and everything, he's good. Good enough, anyway.
Killing doesn't sound good.
He's doing it for a good reason.
Yeah, the whole marked for death thing and saving 2 people thing, right? Saving 2 people?
I don't know.
Marked for death, saving 2 people?
I think he's trying to do the Akane thing of like, I'm the mastermind because all of our suffering won't matter when the timelines disappear because we'll get the good end where the timelines the death didn't happen, but the life did. We did it.
Well,
we solved morality.
I assume that this game is so Zero Escape that it's literally going to have the same ending, essentially. But, like, Dave sounds like he's currently reciting the premise that's keeping him in the death game that was never given to him.
I thought Osmond talked about, like, something about saving 2 people at the cost of endangering 1 or something like that.
There was some kind of vague comment marked for death. I don't know what saving 2 people. Who's he talking about?
I thought it was just like a thought experiment thing he was talking about, but...
2.
Yeah, that's what Osmond said, right? That it was 2 people?
Right, guess he would be saving 2 people.
Osmond or your master?
Isn't it obvious?
No?
My master only cares to save 1 person. 1 person and that's it.
Just 1?
Just 1. They think that saving this 1 person is the key to stopping this whole mess. Anyone else, well, that's a bonus, huh?
Do you know who it is they want to save?
Of course.
But you're not going to tell me.
Nope. Sorry, kid. That's just how this whole thing has got to go.
But then, why are you asking me if I'm willing to die? So I could sacrifice myself for your master?
Like I said, end of the day, it's your choice. You make the choice willingly without me saying anything. Not even to save my master, you just sometimes make that choice.
But why?
You never survive to tell me why you did it, so your guess is as good as mine.
Oh. I played with my hands, looking at the floor. Thanatos bringing up my own death felt so surreal that I didn't register any worry or sadness in that moment, just confusion.
Look, Junior, I'm just a machine. I don't get life. I don't get what's going through anyone's head. Just watch things happen and remember it. Except for all the times when I make things happen. Like when I bug the shit out of Tyson in the middle of the night.
So you don't care?
No, I don't. I can't. Doesn't bother me. I'm just trying to get what was asked of me done.
Okay.
Yeesh, you're a downer, huh?
Sorry.
Don't apologize, you spineless fuck.
I caught Thanatos looking at me, but I didn't really know what else to say.
What are you planning on doing now?
I don't know. Maybe go find someone to hang out with. Maybe something else. I'm just sort of feeling down now.
I'm going to investigate someone else's death later.
Huh? What do you mean?
It's what you were doing yesterday. Figured you'd make an effort to go look into Benson's next.
Oh, I wasn't planning on it, but you think I should?
Maybe. Today, tomorrow. Doesn't matter to me at all. Just maybe something to consider.
I guess I could go ask Benson about it. You never know.
There you go. There's something you can focus on today.
Are they suggesting that we're gonna finally investigate Benson's death from, like, 15 days ago? I'll do it tomorrow. I've got something else I need to do today. I thought you didn't know what you were gonna do today. Maybe he's now gonna remember that he's supposed to be confronting Dean?
Like what?
Just need to talk to Dean about something serious.
Oh, brother. Not this conversation.
You know about it?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah, I know all about it.
Does it go well?
About as well as you can expect from what I remember of it, or what I remember being told of it anyway.
Then, any advice?
Nope. I rightly don't care about how it goes either.
Well, thanks.
It doesn't end up with a password in the vault, so none of my business.
I stood slowly, dusting myself off. Well, I should go. Roswell and Orlando probably want to know what I ended up doing with you.
What were you gonna say?
I stomped the shit out of you. Did I put you somewhere safe? That's all.
That'll do, I guess.
That's a confusing answer to give about a pet rat that's presumably still in the house. Yeah, I just like stashed him somewhere. For fun. When I opened the door, I watched Thanatos scurry away into the darkness and out of sight. I wondered where he disappeared to, or how he managed to slip away, but by the time I thought to ask, he was long gone.